guys, welcome to Finding Joy in the Mundane. I am your host, Aya Nichols, and today's episode will be a continuation of last week's episode and the theme of life, liberty, and happiness. So today I wanted to talk about the personal Bill of Rights. And I don't know if you've ever actually heard of this, but this is something that I do in my crisis center often. And it's this thing that we learned in our RAP training that it's called the personal Bill of Rights. And these are different rights that a person should have as just a human being, like the basic human rights of people for their well-being. I have made a little changes and condensed it to 7 items instead of 27, so I'm hoping this helps. But the first one will be the right to life and worth. What does it mean to have a right to life? And what kind of life do you have a right to have? So I feel like these verses that I've picked out really speak into what I'm talking about. I will tell you where it is in the passage, but please go look at it. Read the passage, because I want you learning this for yourself as well. So, the right to life and worth. To have the right to life, I'll start with that one. Because we didn't ask to be alive. I feel like we were all just brought here into existence and we kind of just survive. And that's why it had me questioning, because I struggled so much to survive throughout my entire life that I question so often, is this the life that I even want to be living? Would it be better for me to not have even been born? I mean, all of these are questions in my head, and I think a lot of people have those questions too. And I'm starting to learn the answers, so I would love to be just sharing all of that. But as far as this is concerned, I have started reading through the Bible from square one, like from page 1, Genesis 1. So like I had to start reading through Numbers and Deuteronomy, everything. And the amount of text and detail they keep up with as far as genealogy goes, like this is the son of this person, this is the son of that person, this is the son of this person, you know, like it's exhausting keeping up with it. But they wrote it down to the point where they want you to know where they came from, and each person had a role to play in that generation. So like I think that's the right to life that people inherently have, is to have the chance to be part of their generation and to experience it in the fullest. But we live in a fallen world, so that doesn't always happen. But that doesn't mean that's not what it was created to be. I'm gonna go into now like worth. So Genesis 1:27 says that we were created in God's own image. That God said to himself, let us, meaning plural, make man in our image. That is the worth of our creation. We are the representation. We are the image of God. That is our gift. A gift that I don't think that we fully understand or are able to tap into at this point, because we are so busy concerned about our image and what our image is to the world that we don't care whose image we were made out of. And concentrating on my own image has really hurt me. I didn't heal until finally I stopped looking at my own image and started looking at God. And then the question came, why did he create me in his image? What is it that I'm supposed to sit here and represent that is a part of the Holy One? But that is the gift we were given. Both man and woman were given part of his image. I feel like that's why Adam wasn't complete. It wasn't the full image of God, because God is is a community. But they're a part of one. Mankind, part of one, but created into 2. That's because we had a third one coming. Spoiler. And then that would make us 3. And that's the Holy Spirit. So I'm saying once you start reading, I'm hoping that some of this will start making more sense, because I find a lot of joy in it. Knowing that I was created by my maker from his own image, that I am seen in that way, I have that worth. Our sole existence shows the majesty of God. That's it. Second one, the right to respect and justice. I think we all have the right to have justice in our life. I just don't think that we can have that here without Jesus. I have worked within the court systems in multiple ways. I was a probation officer. I wanted to be a lawyer. And after seeing what I saw, I realized there is no justice to be found here. When I say the system is rigged and the people themselves are rigged against themselves. So it's not just the system. Like, I have seen so many good intended judges give people millions of chances who are sitting there throwing them away, and then one person who actually is doing the work given one chance. So like, when you see that, I just didn't want to be a part of that side of it. I wanted to be a part of caring for the person that's having to stand before the judge. I didn't want to be the person sending them to jail. So that is what actually led me to seminary, because I didn't know what else God would want me to do. And then I met my husband, so yay. As far as respect goes, I think everyone deserves and has the right to be respected. As a human being who has emotions, who has opinions, who has thoughts, who has their own life experience, I think everyone deserves self-respect on who they are. No one deserves, or no one should be able to just bash you because of the things that you say or because of what you think or believe. Because here's the thing, it is what you believe. I'm not going to sit here and try to make you feel bad for it. I just don't want to sit here and feel bad for mine either. So that is what I'm saying. When it comes to respect, I feel like you have to first give it to receive it. But within that respect and justice comes our call for the church to seek justice and correct oppression and defend the fatherless. As a church, we were sent to seek justice and respect to God's people. But I think we didn't really know what that meant, so we haven't really gotten it right. Because we aren't taking care of the fatherless. Look at foster care. The government's taking care of the fatherless. And that's a mess, to say the least. And it's because the church hasn't stepped up. The church is the only thing that is actually built to be able to handle the fatherless. Because it's a community. And that is what foster care right now is missing within the foster parents. And that's why they can't do it. It's because they need a community. They need to be able to have other people to help them care for these broken children. And yet, the church is more concerned about being right than serving the fatherless. I don't know. The third one, the right to love and be loved. John 13:34. Love one another as I have loved you. Romans 12:10. Be devoted to another in love. 1 John 4:7. Whoever loves is born of God and knows God. This concept of the right to love and be loved is all over the Bible. Because we were designed to be loved. Like, we were designed to live in community, and we were designed to be loved, to feel like we belong. We were meant for so much more than this. I think we really have confused what it means to love and be loved. Even just all the word love. Because I could love pizza, and then I could love Mia. I would never give my life over to pizza. But if Mia was on the line, this is not even a question. But it's still love. And I think learning the different kind of love that we have within each other, what we have with God, what we have within ourselves, like learning how to nourish those kinds of relationships would be really good for your ultimate wellness. Because you need to understand who you are. You need to understand who made you, and you need to understand where you're going from here. Which goes into 4, the right to freedom, which goes back to Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. He is the only way to freedom. He is the only one offering freedom. So if there's any confusion as far as where true freedom comes from, I would highly suggest you start there in Galatians 5. But then there's 2 Corinthians 3:17, where it says, where the Spirit of the Lord, there is freedom. And then John 8:32, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Why did we discredit the truth? When we started messing with what truth is, that is when our downfall started. Because truth is truth. And when we start denying it, like gravity, it will go against you. If you were to jump off a plane, I promise you, gravity will get you, whether you believe in it or not. We don't get to decide what is true or not. But somehow, some way, our culture was convinced that we can. And now that we've seen the fruit of that, we are all taking a step back and trying to understand what it is that we have done. Because yes, there is different interpretations of truth. Interpretations can be wrong. John Piper, love him. He could be wrong. Tim Keller, may he rest in peace. He could be wrong. But that does not mean that the Bible is wrong. And that is the difference. And because these men were wrong, we associated them with the Bible. But that's not true. And that's the thing about truth. It has boundaries within what is true, what is not. That's how we always know when we're lying or not. Everyone knows when you're lying. You know when it feels like to be lying. So I genuinely think that is our consciousness trying to help us understand who we are and what we feel is right and wrong. 5, the right to equality and inclusion. Because we were all made in the image of God and that we all represent a part of Him. Every single person is an equal, loved individual of God's community and His people. I don't care where you're born, what you look like, you were made in His image. And that in itself, again, gives you the right to be respected and honored and loved as a person that has and bears that image. And as far as discrimination and favoritism, James 2, 1-9, it talks about that, so go to it and tell me what you think. But it's always been saying there is no difference between us. Jesus died so that we wouldn't be excluded. He wanted the Gentiles within the promise of the Israelites. He brought the whole world into Israel's promise, which, yes, shocked the Jews because that was their promise. But as far as saying who is welcome in the church and who is welcome with Jesus, anyone and everyone is welcome with Jesus. If you want to sit at His table, He would love to have you. I'd wear sandals because He may wash your feet, but He would love to have you. That is the kind of God that we serve, because Christ came and broke down the walls of division. He didn't build them up. He never built up walls to push away people. He always broke them. 6, the right to provision and care. God continually calls His people to the cause and to defend the orphan and the widow. In Deuteronomy 10:18, God defends the cause of the orphans and the widow. Matthew 25:35, He talks about how whenever He was hungry, they gave Him food. He was referring to Himself as a homeless person, that He sees Himself even in them. We are also made to be generous people. Our hearts are shaped by our actions. 7, the right to safety, rest, and peace. Exodus 28, the Sabbath command. It's like our God-given right to rest, and yet we don't do it because we're constantly being told that we don't have time to rest and that we're gonna be resting when we're dead. At that point, why live at all? So I need people and myself to understand more and more the importance of taking the time to slow down, meditate, and be present. Get in the Word. Philippians 4:7 says the peace of God guards our hearts and mind. So if you're anxious or troubled and you can't get your head to quiet, start reading. That's what helps me. I have OCD. That means I have the obsessive thinking. So when my thoughts start racing, I can't stop them. The only thing that stops them is me starting to read any verse, but it brings me peace every time. So obviously there's truth in that. And we have God fighting for these rights for us. And I'm really grateful that He's coming back soon. So I will see you guys next episode. And if you have any comments on this or questions, feel free to contact me. I'm always open. All right. Bye, guys.